session we are going to discuss about Android application design essentials, where we are going to discuss about activity life cycles and how to create the activities. So myself Dr. Shirisha from CSE department, MLR Institute of Technology. What are the different activities, how to design an activity, and also how to write a business logic to apply some background logic to the activities. So we are going to discuss about activities, and under the activities how to create an activity and what is the activity life cycle state. So when you create an activity, so it undergoes different life cycle states. Okay, so we discuss what are the different life cycle states here. To navigate the transitions between the stages of activity life cycle, that means what, whenever you are using the activity, it undergoes different states like pause, resume, or onload, like that. So it undergoes different stages. So when they are in the different stages, every activity class provides a core set of 6 callbacks. So to all these stages will be undergone based upon these methods. So what are they? On create. So when you're creating an activity, you will call back a function called on create, and on start. So once it is created, if you wanted to start the activity, then you have to call this on start method. Then on resume, once your activity is started, you may pause the activity. So when you're pausing, again when you wanted to start the activity from the same position, then we have to use this on resume. And when it is in resume, when you wanted to pause it, we use this on pause method. Similarly, when the activity usage is done, if you wanted to stop the action of the particular activity, then we are going to use this on stop activity. Finally, you can destroy it using the on destroy method. So all these callbacks are being used by the system to when an activity enters a new state. So this is the activity life cycle where every activity, once that is launched, so when an activity is created and when it is launched, immediately you will call a on create method. So what is the use of on create? On create will create an activity. On create creates an activity in the mobile application development. Then on start, once the activity is created, if you wanted to start the action for the activity, then you have to call this start. So start an activity. Similarly, from on start, so once that is started, you can use on resume. Then once this on start and on resume are in use, then we mean that the activity is in the running state. So once the activity is running and another activity is coming in the foreground, and the current activity will go in the background. Suppose say you have an Android mobile, you have used Facebook very recently, and another time in the next minute you are using the WhatsApp. So then in the foreground WhatsApp will be getting and your Facebook will go at the background. So we have 3 buttons at the home page of every Android mobile. You'll have a home page, you can have very recent applications and also some other options, right? So mainly these very recently used options will give you when they are clicked, so this on pause can be carried out. So it will be called back. So then the activity is no longer visible. So when it is on pause, whatever the application you are using currently in the Android application, so that will go into the pause state. Then on stop. So once you have paused it, then the current activity will be no longer visible. Then you will call this on stop. So when on stop is there, so the process, whatever the apps with the higher priority are there, the app processes are killed, and users will be navigated again to the activity where activity creation is done. Once this on stop is there, there are two cases. One is killing the activity, and the other is user navigate to the other activity, again navigating to the activity. So where you can restart. So restart again starts an activity. Again when the activity is getting started, again you will go to on resume. So in this way, there is a cycle where once the activity is launched, you may either go to on resume or you may either go to on pause. So once on stop is there, once stopped, you may either kill the process, go to the other activity, or you may also restart the current activity. So these are the two cases you have. And similarly, when you have paused your activity, so from on pause, there are two things. Either you can kill it, or again the user can go back and start a on resume. Like this is very similar when you play a MP3 or MP4. Then when you pause it, then what happens? That activity will be paused in the current position. Again, when you resume it from the current position, your activity, I mean your MP3 or your MP4 will get started and it will be played. So in the similar way, the activity also takes place. Okay, so the user returns and again the on resume is called back and activity will be in the running state again. So these are the two states where on pause and on stop will be undergoing two different states, either to restart or start the current activity and or kill the process. Then finally, when it is on stop, the activity is finished and it will be destroyed. Then activity is shut down. So in between this activity launched 1 and in between this activity shut down n. So there are n number of states you have. So these states all together along with the different data flow, we call it as a activity life cycle. Then, so in the exam, this will be asked for the long answer type question. So when long answer type question is asked, you have to explain each and every cycle, each and every state. So on create. So as I told you, you must implement this which fires when the system first creates the activity. Okay, so whenever you wanted to create an activity, you will call the on create method. Similarly, you perform basic application startup. So already activity is created. Again, you have to start the activity. Then also this on create will be called. So it should happen only once for the entire life cycle of the activity. So when on create is there, you have application, your entire application, for your entire application. So on create will be called only once. Okay. Then on start. When activity enters the starter state, the system invokes this callback. Obviously, you have created, but you have to start the activity to execute it, right? So therefore, the on start call makes the activity visible to the users. Until and unless you don't start it, it cannot be visible. So you have created, but it is hidden, then no use, right? It will not be visible to the user. So whenever you need to see it, then you have to call this on start method. Then after on start, we discussed is on resume. So when you are passed, again you wanted to restart the activity, we'll go to the on resume method. When the activity enters the resume state, it comes to the foreground and the system invokes on resume. So when you wanted all the applications to run in the foreground, then you just resume it. Okay, go to the apps, go to the very recent apps that were used. So go there and just drag or scroll towards right. Then you will get the application. So you can just click on the application and it will get into the foreground. So this is what the use of on resume. So this is the state in which app interacts with the user. Next, on pause. You have resumed the process, but once it is resumed, it is running. But in between, if you wanted to pause that and make use of any other application, then what happens? You have to pause it. So how an application can be paused is by calling your on pause method. The system calls this method as a first indication that the user is leaving your activity. Means it does not always mean that activity is being destroyed, but it is paused. Destroying means your application is no longer there in your most recently used applications. So you're destroying it. So again, if you wanted to start it, either you have to create if it has not existed, or you have to start it. On start is used to start the activity. So this is what the initial callbacks that we have: on create, on start, on resume, and also on pause. Then coming to the other one is the on stop method. So on stop, when you don't want to see the activity is no longer visible when you're stopping it. So activity is closed. So whenever it is closed, you can either destroy it or you can again create or start it. So restart is where again it will stop the from the stopped state, it comes back to interact with the user on restart. So there are two cases where you are starting your application. One is whenever the process is paused. Then from pause, if you wanted to again resume, then you can go to on resume. There your activity will get restarted. So this is what on restart. So it again comes back to interact with the user, or the activity is finished running and goes away. If the activity comes back, the system invokes what? On restart. On destroy. On destroy is called before the activity is destroyed. This is simply when if you wanted to make an activity not available in the most recently used applications. And this is the code where I wanted to show you to tell you how to implement an activity lifecycle states. So this is an activity where we are going to use this linear layout, and for every activity you are writing with the help of XML. So question mark XML, and ending with this is a prologue statement, XML prologue statement that we are going to use, because every activity is written in the activity.xml only. So this is your linear layout, and this is XML namespace with the three different parameters. One is the namespace for Android, the other is the namespace for app, the other one is the tools. So these three are the different parameters of what? Your linear layout. So these are the documentations where you are giving a namespace. Just you can go to refer, go and refer here in these links and get back for the information. And there are two other parameters that we are giving along with the XML namespace. These are the attributes that we have given for linear layout, and also Android : layout width, layout height. So when you are creating an activity, suppose this is my mobile. In this mobile, I want my application throughout the mobile. Okay, then what is my width that my application has to use? What is the height that my application has to use? So this should be taken care by the user when he is creating an activity. So when he creates, we have to give layout width, layout height, match parent, match parent. Match parent means what? The height of your application, the height of your app is equals to height of mobile. That is match parent. Whatever the Android mobile size is there, that layout size is there, the same layout height you can use as a app height. So that is what layout width, layout height. Then we have closed your linear layout here. So the tag we have closed here, and finally your linear layout closing tag is given after your designing tags. Okay, after your designing tag. So what is the one tag that we are going to use here is a text view. So in this text view, we are again giving few properties: layout width, layout height, wrap content, wrap content. That means what? Suppose if you are giving, right, so this is my layout and I wanted to print hello, okay, in some box or in some text view, the text is displayed here. Then what happens if you wanted to use like this? So the width of the text should be only with respect to the text that you are going to write. The height of your text is again relies on the text that you are going to display. So these two things we are giving here: layout width, wrap content, layout height, wrap content. This layout width, layout height here also we have given, but here we are talking about the linear layout, the complete activity. Here we are talking about only the text view, the text that you are going to display here. Okay, so this is the wrap content. So match parent fills the entire mobile screen, That wrap content, it uses only the text size, means how much size that is required for the text to be displayed, only that much. So Android colon text, what is the text that is need to be displayed? So hello world, that hello world will be displayed here. And these are the constraint bottom to bottom off and to right off and constraint top. These are the margins that we are giving for this linear layout. A complete linear layout has taken these parameters to get the margins towards left, right, top and bottom. These are the margins that are being set using these attributes. Then this is about a simple XML part. But here, whenever you are executing this, we have to recall all those states, right? So this is how we have to link states with my activity. So this is where we have a Java program where we are talking about activity lifecycle. Whatever the text that you wanted to display, that is your program. To execute that activity, it has to undergo few states. So what are those states and which state is displayed when, that we have to see. So here this is a program and this is where your package name, and these are the important libraries that you have to import. So these are the libraries, one for activity, one for bundle and one for util.log. So these whatever the important libraries you need, that you can use here. Then public class main activity extends the activity. So this is where we are using the class main activity here. And on create, so bundle save instance, on create is a method that is used to create. Okay, whenever your Java part has to be created, we use this on create method. And super dot on create, so this Java part should be integrated with your this activity, right? So to make that integration and to bind everything in your Android Studio, there we are going to use what? Super dot on create and or create method. Now set content view is a method where it is going to display the activity. Display the activity. So what is the activity that you're going to display? Activity underscore main. What is activity underscore main? This is my activity underscore main. This is the name of the program. So where it is, it will be under layout, under the resources, that I'll show you while execution. So log.d is a method which you are giving to print the log to debug. So when you wanted to debug, and debug message should be displayed as a log, then we are giving, so lifecycle on create invoked. Similarly, when you have started on start, so we have given a on start callback, right? Super dot on start. Again here it is debugging what? On start invoked. Similarly, we are making for on pause, on resume, and also on stop, on restart, on destroy. So whatever the states it is going to enter, there we are trying to display the log message on stopped invoked, on restart invoked, on destroy invoked, like that. So this is the use of activity lifecycle. Now I just wanted to show you how the execution takes place. This is what we have seen in the program, and this is my activity. So what is the name of the activity? Activity underscore main. So this is our activity underscore main. So as we have discussed, we are using a linear layout and with the XML tag, and these are the namespaces, layout width, layout height, and also the text view. Now what we have to do, we have to write a logic, business logic, for whatever the activity that you have given, so which it undergoes which states. So you have a package and you have imported different libraries that are required for execution, and in this main activity we are going to give on create and say all the log statements with where you wanted to debug. Okay, so D stands for here debug, and this is a tag that we are giving to see those messages which are related to this program. So we are giving a tag called lifecycle. So you just give the lifecycle as a name, then you just will be seeing what are the methods or what are the states that are being invoked. So just let me execute. So if you could see here, your Gradle build is running. Then, so we are using a emulator here, and just still loading. So if you could see here, the beginning of main, beginning of kernel. So the life cycle is given here to just see what are the logs that are being invoked. So here, when it is invoked, so once you are beginning your system, so it is launching the app with a Pixel API 34. Okay, and we'll go for the log. And if you could see here, onCreate is invoked because you have created the activity in the activity underscore main. Then you have to start invoked. Then, so this is where your emulator is running, and you could see, let me zoom here, we got a hello world. So why we are printing hello world is a statement text that we have given in the text view. So you're going to print it. So suppose if you are giving here, and you can see on create is invoked, on start is invoked, on resume is invoked. On resume means you have played it. Now what I'll do is, I'll go to the home. Okay, so when I'm going to home, see here which method is getting invoked. So I'm clicking on home here. On pause is invoked, on pause and on stopped, because your activity is stopped right now. Again, if you wanted to make it run, so from on pause, okay, these are the recent applications that are being used. Okay, these are the recent applications. Now I'm selecting this. Okay, now what happens, see, on resume got started. Now you have on passed, again it has stopped it, on stop. Then when you are again going to recent tabs and selecting your application here, then again what is happening, on restart is invoked, on start is invoked, on resume is invoked. So whenever your activity is getting started, so on start, on resume, by default they are getting invoked. Okay, this is how you have to write a program. This is a long answer type question that can be asked in the examinations. Hope you all understood. Thank you.